Favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Hello everyone, John and Carla here. We are the creative team behind the Green Reaper.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to Why.com with your new favorite YouTube channel. And today we have the beautiful panel you're seeing right here. We have Red Gaze, Lola, and Beanie Art.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
So last time we were in Red's channel, we kind of shared a few of our crazy stories. And so we kind of going to be doing this whole thing where we swap channels every once in a while, just to have like this story night, right? I'm just going to tell our crazy, paranormal, or just outright bizarre stories that everybody can share right now. You know, we have tons of people in the comment section. You're more than welcome to share our stories as well, your stories. We'll share ours, and we'll hear some of the stories from the panel as well. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Just tired. I've been doing a lot of fulfillment.
I'm trying to figure out what day it is.
I think everyone's tired lately.
Today is Monday. So
Let's just take a quick look at the chat. We have Chimera. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Welcome to Shitu. Hell Comics Gate, Hell War Campaign. Hey, Carla, Hell Lola, Hell Red, and Hell John, of course.
yeah, you forget about it. Don't forget about me.
Don't forget
I'm
about
afraid to say his name. Like, I'm afraid I will butcher that.
Dushitu?
I just see Doshitu.
Dushitu. Yeah, that's Polish for shit.
Rainbow shit.
Right.
It's a happy shit.
Shit.
Yeah, very good.
It's better than a hateful shit.
Dushitu says, it's 3 a.m. here, so I will probably fall asleep during a stream. Well, that's a perfect time to watch a paranormal stream. This is going to be a Monday thing, like next Monday. And the next show is going to be at Red's channel. So please make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss the ridiculous stories we have for you.
Absolutely.
Then we have Arch City Comics. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, welcome. We have Mr. Day Day. Hello, Mr. Day Day.
New subscriber. I haven't seen him before.
Oh, yeah, welcome. We have Apollo. Hello, Greek mythology. Wait for it. And I love my blue twilight. Oh, yeah.
Never without Phil.
Do you love your blue twilight?
Yeah, I love my blue twilight.
Am I late? No.
We are. Yeah.
We're very sorry. We are very gay today. We're very late and gay. We have Mogwai Centurion. Welcome, Mogwai, my beautiful friend. Papa Kenesu. Hey, gang. Gail Simon's side nigga. Hello, everyone. What's up?
Yeah, it's pronounced Gail Simone's side and word.
Also,
You're braver than I.
I think it's just a matter of ignorance. I don't understand how problematic can the word be. Thank God it's Monday. Dushitu. Yes, it's Delta Springport. We have Yetzabel. Welcome, Yetzabel. I'm playing World of Warcraft. Oh, come on, my friend. Please. No, don't do it. Don't do it. You're never going to get out of that.
Alrighty. So, yeah, like we said, we're going to make this a Monday thing. And I have an announcement, too, because there's something interesting that we're going to start doing in our channels. As you know, we kind of have taken over Red's channel. He has taken over ours. So we're going to start doing some stuff together. And one thing we talked about was about these pre-recorded videos where we're going to tell some of these crazy stories. And trust me, we have tons of them. Featuring an artist for the week who's going to be drawing that story. And we're going to have some scenes drawn, you know, to kind of like make it CG as well. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
very cool.
I'm very, very excited to start that project. Yeah.
This week is Vinny. Just kidding, Vinny.
Actually,
Well, I am drawing right now, but it's for one of my backers.
yeah, no, we're not. Don't worry, we know how busy you are, but we know that eventually you will have time. But the next week is going to be actually Sin. So it's going to be the first one. Hopefully, he shows up on the chat today and reminds everyone. And yeah, we look forward to seeing that as well.
Kimura says, she's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just on a stream with Sim. I jumped off it to come over here and hang with my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite literally.
Welcome anytime, brother. You know this is your home. So how about we start with
my short horror story.
Sure.
I burned my house and Bath and Body Works gave me a $50 gift card.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
Yay! See, the haters were right. I get a lot from it.
I know one thing we're not buying with that money though, and it ain't gonna be candles.
Yeah, keep her away from the candles, John.
Yeah. But yeah.
Far away.
So here in this space we tell crazy stories that we know. They can be stories from places that you live, stories from your friends, or stories from your own experience, right? So I wanted to start out with a story that I actually heard very recently, and it comes from Mexico, right? So in this little town called Guanajuato, there is really kind of like a really mysterious phenomenon going on. So when you die over there and you get buried, and they're not really sure if it's something that has to do with the DNA of the people, or if it's something that had to do with the ground, but apparently it's very easy for you to become mummified just through a natural process, So you basically, if you get buried in this town, you become a mummy, right?
Cool.
So it's a very famous thing, which is why they have a museum where they put them on display. It's very easy for people to kind of get behind on their payments because I don't know how it works over here. I haven't died yet, but apparently when you get buried in a cemetery, your family has to still pay a monthly fee for, kind of like rent, if you will, for your grave. I don't know. That's apparently how it works.
Monthly. Wow, that's harsh.
I didn't know that, but apparently when you get behind those payments, you basically relinquish your right to be buried on your graveside, and basically they're gonna dig up your body and take you to the museum and display you for everyone to see. So
Wow.
So nowadays, and I've been to this place. I went with my mom a long time ago, and I remember that when I went, there were these glass cases where the mummies were behind, and they told me this story, and it always stuck with me, that the reason why they had the mummies behind the glass case is because of an incident that happened a long time ago, where this old woman, was visiting the famous Guanajuato Mummy Museum, and she was just walking through the hallways or whatever, and apparently everyone left, and she was like the only one left in the building, like looking at the mummies and all these things on display, right? But when she realized that she was alone, that the guide was gone, and that the rest of the people that were just in the museum were gone, she kind of freaked out, right? And it's a pretty dark place, not only because of what is in the museum, but that the lighting it doesn't really help. It's a very dark place, right? So she starts kind of panicking, right? Because she's surrounded by corpses, and mind you, back then they did not have the glass cases where the mummies were behind. They were just right there. You could touch it. They were just like mummies on display that you could touch, you could play with. They didn't care, but they were there.
Oh, that's creepy.
So this lady starts really freaking out. She starts panicking, right? And she starts feeling, she starts having that feeling of like, shit, someone is watching. And of course, she has a bunch of corpses watching her. So she starts kind of pacing away, right? So here's the theory, right? The theory is that this lady feels something behind her, right? And when she turns around, what she sees is that a mummy is grabbing her. So she has a heart attack and dies. What ended up happening is that in her rush, she was hurrying up, and in the middle of her panic, she was kind of pacing out. She was kind of running out of the building, and her big old poncho got caught with one of the mummy's fingers. So what she didn't notice is that she was kind of dragging the mummy away. So it looked like the mummy was grabbing her. So this lady had a heart attack and died from it.
Damn.
That sounds like something from Scooby Doo.
It does.
This lady had a heart attack and died from it. Now the funny thing is that, of course, they got behind on her graveside payments, and now she is a mummy on display in this museum. And after that, they decided to put all the mummies behind a glass case so that something like that wouldn't happen again.
All right, so we have some comments. Let me just say, it's coming from Isabel. She's saying, Vinny, your work on Ethan's option the other night was incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, that went out today as well. Yeah. No, both of them did. I forgot I did 2 nights in a row. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it felt really great too, because that second night, it was a City of Venus piece. So yeah, to sell my characters, way higher than normal pieces, that felt fucking great. Absolutely. I might actually use that piece in the sequel in City of Venus too. So yeah, I scanned it. Yeah, I scanned it in before I mailed it out.
We have more people. We haven't said hello in the chat. We have Bookie Supremacy. Welcome. We have El Guapo, my good friend El Guapo. Then we have. Wait,
That's a hell of a mugshot.
Delta
For
Strike.
Three
Cool
For
story.
Three Amigos. Don't you remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
It's a guapo Chuck Norris by any chance? He looks like Chuck Norris.
No. It's from it's from that movie. I just said it.
Oh.
I haven't seen the Three Amigos since like 1992.
We have,
It
Yes.
was hilarious.
It was.
That was a good movie. El Guapo is awesome, though.
Ha! Vinny's still getting the spaghetti twerking.
Only from Apollo.
Hey, Vinny.
Stop promising things for me, please.
Lola is teaching Vinny to twerk in spaghetti.
Yeah.
Vinny, you're supposed to twerk in spaghetti with me.
All right, I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Anyway,
CGCon next year, right?
Yep, 2021 con.
Yep.
Gonna be a blast.
We'll make sure you got lots of alcohol before you do it.
Of course. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, this sounds like a
we'll
horror
have to
story.
get one of those pants that are padded that have those big fake butts in them.
For me or you?
For you. What would I need it for?
I don't know. You're gonna be doing it with me, aren't you? We're gonna be in that
Yeah, but I
spaghetti.
got an ass. I don't need no fake ass.
We're confusing Carla right now a lot. She's getting upset.
No.
Look at her face.
Vinny's
That's not confusion.
The
That's
spaghetti.
that's terror.
Yeah, you guys kept upping the ante for me while I've been busy packing and shipping everything. I come back and I keep finding out you guys made promises on my behalf that Vinny's going to be twerking. Now I'm going to be twerking in spaghetti. It's going to be at the CG Con. I'm like, this is all very racist towards Italians, but okay.
Oh, come on.
At least it's
We're
not
asking
calling,
you to eat the spaghetti. We're just asking you to twerk in it.
at least they're not calling me Fredo, right? Because remember, that's like the N word for Italians.
What?
Wait, it's a CNN joke, but I guess nobody got it.
from Godfather.
I get it.
That's why the tubby little hut was trying to say that towards me when he was trying to attack me. But man, someone's got to do like a shorter clip of me blasting him. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Who is it that's called you that?
The hut, when they tried to
Serious?
fabricate, yeah, when they tried to do the hut, the hit piece on me.
The people's champion.
People see
Yeah,
it.
people. Yeah.
He's such an idiot, man.
Tell me about it. Well, that's why I blasted him on 2 streams, and it was so great. Didn't do
Somebody
shit after that.
Somebody
Does
said
he know
that.
who his imaginary friend the shadow is?
Wait, you both talked at the same time.
My bad.
Go ahead, Lola.
You go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Age before beauty.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Good job.
No, I was saying, does anybody know who his imaginary friend the shadow is that he keeps talking about in all his videos?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch his videos. I only saw the parts of that one where he was trying to blast me.
Oh my god, he talks about all these conspiracy theories in his videos, like they're truth, right? Like they're written truth for him. But he says that he gets all this information from someone called the Shadow.
Oh, that's his mom. When he's playing in the bathtub with McFarlane toys that I designed for him, he's splashing in the tub, and his mommy's reading him little clips from Twitter and YouTube, and he's going, "Thanks, Shadow. Now I can make a new video."
I got him now.
It's the shadow of his mommy.
What the hell is going on in the chat? Lola, you're the simp queen.
Apparently, I've got Simps, and I didn't even know I had Simps.
Just
Oh wow!
look at this. Put it back in your pants, Abel, because Abel is saying, I sing for Lola's beautiful voice. Jeez. She has a sweet voice. Damn, girl. And then he's like, Kent, brothers. Lola's voice is driving me crazy. Sweet, sweet voice. I sing for her. So keep talking, Lola.
Yeah, Lola, you could start a fans only and just talk.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe Lola should read the signs for
Maybe.
That could be a perk.
That could be a perk, right?
Wait. I'm not Vinny.
Oh no, you're getting signed up for shit too. All right, 20K Lola reads it.
They can dish it out, but they can't take it.
Yeah, she reads it while twerking.
50K.
Spaghetti.
Anyway, keep doing your thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, so this was great insight, guys. Does anybody hear a story on story day or story night? What?
We destroyed this stream. What happened? You know, hold on. In Sicily, they actually have the catacombs. That's pretty crazy. There's like what you were talking about in Mexico, or someone's like all those people were mummified. In Sicily, there's one guy who he embalmed his daughter. She passed away at like the age of 7 or 8, something like that. She was small, and he came up with this concoction that preserved the body, like better than anything anyone's ever seen. And he wouldn't let anyone know about what he used. When he passed away, he kept the secret with him. But to this day, if you go there, she's like in a glass kind of containment thing where you could see inside. And it looks like she could just stand up and just start talking. That's how perfectly he embalmed her, or whatever he did, whatever the process was. It's kind of crazy. But it reminded me of that. Huh?
Was it Mr. Freeze?
No. It wasn't frozen, nothing. I don't know what the hell he did. It's some kind of chemicals he injected her with.
Jism.
I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, man. Very interesting. Anybody else?
Oh, damn.
Wow, John. Look at you. You wanted more ghost story or something, huh?
Vinny, didn't you say last time you had a real life ghost story to tell?
Yes, but it didn't happen to me. It happened to my uncle, my aunt, and my mom. When their father passed away, they were all pretty small. It was kind of nuts because they said they all saw it, including my grandmother. That when he passed, like about a week later or something, he popped up in the living room, and he used to, like, when they went to sleep, at least back then anyway. Like they were a little more classy. He was a very classy guy. He had like silk pajamas, and he appeared in those pajamas around bedtime when they were all going to go to sleep. And he popped up, and they turned around. They all got scared, like they all kind of froze. And he went, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I won't come around again." And he turned and left. They went to go open up the curtain. He was completely gone. And the following day, they found his pajamas all folded on the edge of the bed. When they all went to sleep, like, you know, his stuff was all packed away, and those pajamas were on the bed the next morning. My grandmother didn't touch them. Aunt, uncle, my mom, nobody. They didn't go in boxes to look for them. They were there. So it was crazy. But yeah, they definitely saw him. And my aunt, she had passed away like 2 years ago, but she would never talk about it because she changed religions and everything. But yeah, anytime you brought it up, she would just put a look on her face and just not even bring it up because it still affected her then.
Wow.
So yeah, it was definitely a ghost story for you there.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
an experience.
That's quite the experience. It reminds me of a story I heard. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to my mom and my aunt when they were very young. But young, very young, but old enough to where I can believe what they're telling me. You know what I mean? I mean, they're obviously grown ups now, but they say they were around. I don't know. My mom was probably 9, and my aunt should have been like around 6 or 7 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the house where they grew up at the time didn't have. I mean, it had windows, but they didn't have glass, right? It was just bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the bars, you could easily put your hand through it, right? So apparently, they didn't really quite grow up with their mom because the mom traveled a lot. You know, she had 4 kids, and she just pretty much spent most of the time traveling to Panama and other places because she was into trading and things like that, right?
Panama?
Panama.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Ruby. She used to travel to Panama. So what she did was she would leave him with a neighbor. Because it was a neighbor. She lived like across the street or whatever, but the kids would pretty much just stay at home by themselves, and the neighbor would kind of just make sure that they're not dead every once in a while. You know, kind of look through the window, make sure they're still there. And so what they agreed to do was that the girls were gonna sleep on the couches in the living room, right? So that the neighbor had an easier time seeing them, that they were okay, right? So here's how they tell it. They tell it that they started feeling that they felt this weird sensation that like time stopped, right? That's how they described it. Like they couldn't quite tell me why, but it was just soundlessness and it was just this weird feeling like everything around just stopped, right?
Right.
And then they said that they saw a man, right, standing outside, and that he basically told them, "Hey, I see you. I can see where you are." Right? And he started insulting them. Yeah, remember these are little girls, right? So when he starts insulting them, they say with this really deep voice, and telling them, demanding that they will let him in the house, right? He would tell them, let me in, I need to get in the house, right? But so they said that they were both kind of petrified until my mom sees that this guy puts a gun through the bars of the windows and starts flashing it. So she says that she was the only one who was able to snap out of it. My aunt just kind of stayed frozen. My mom throws herself after my aunt and drags her away from basically the line of fire. Now, this guy never actually pulled the trigger, but he was flashing a gun to 2 little girls and this is a stranger, you know what I mean, in someone else. And so the strangest thing that they tell me is that my aunt at this point is like kind of in this catatonic state where she cannot snap out of it, but she sees what is happening, right? She remembers it very clearly. And my mom is, of course, losing her shit, right? They had 2 more brothers that were sleeping in the back of the house. They're kind of screaming for help, but nobody's coming to their aid. And they keep screaming. They say there's a guy trying to break in. There's a guy flashing a gun through the bars of the window, and nobody in the whole neighborhood doesn't even care. You know, the lady who's supposed to be watching us, who lives across the street, is not even calling the cops or whatever. And they said it was the strangest thing because this guy stayed there for a good hour, harassing them the whole time. So they said that after a while, when they started to see the sunrise, because this happened, they said it happened around 3 a.m. They said that they see this guy and that my mom gets to see his face, and he said that it was a very uncanny gaze, if you will, right? That he looked at her with those eyes of hatred. You could tell, somebody's really hates you, spiteful, right? And that this guy tells him, "Okay, I'll be back." He says that, and he leaves, right? And that after that, the brothers, my uncle Jorge, and the other uncle that we don't mention, come running to them, and they're like, "What happened? We heard you screaming," but they said that for some reason they couldn't get up, they couldn't go help, So they didn't know if it
Yeah.
was because it was a very scary thing, or because there was something actually holding them back to where they couldn't help. The next day, now these are four brothers. One of them must have been at least 13 or 14, which was my uncle George, and then my mom was right below that, probably 11, 12. So these are not little kids, you know what I mean? They would remember this pretty well. But then when they asked the neighbor, they said that they didn't hear or see anything. And kind of like if it was a dream, but of course this is four people, four kids who pretty much experienced this by themselves in a house.
Yeah. Wow. And that was around 3 a.m.?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the witching hour. They said when that's when the darker spirits or whatnot are that they're most active. That's in a lot of and a lot of religions and history and all that stuff.
I know.
Which that is pretty crazy. I had a friend where something similar happened to her. She used to visit her grandmother a lot, and she always felt like very weird in that house, like something was watching her, or weird things would happen, stuff would break out of the blue. And she had moved away for a while, and then she was visiting during a holiday or something, and she went up to the attic in her grandmother's house. She lay down on because they turned the attic into like a little room. She laid down in a bed, and she woke up I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later, because it felt like somebody was sitting on her chest, and she couldn't fucking breathe, and her arms and her legs were all pinned down, like physically, like it felt like somebody was holding her, restraining her, like if John just grabbed Carla by the wrist, like that tight, and that tangible. Like it didn't feel like her limbs just wouldn't move or whatever. It was like somebody was physically holding her down. And then she felt like a cool breath in her face, like right there. She screamed so loud when she finally was able to get her breath back, and then it let go, and she jutted out of the house. I never went back in there. So that's some freaky shit right there.
Yeah.
That is some freaky shit. I want to say something because there are some people in the chat, especially Jezebel,
but also Chimera.
Chimera. You had those stories. We did send you the link so that you can pop in anytime and tell your stories. You guys can just check your private your DMs on Twitter, and then you find a link. Just click on it, and it will take you.
This is the short story Chimera is telling us. He says, "Thought I saw a ghost, but it was the KKK burning across on my lawn, and I'm not even black." Guys,
or is he just joking?
I owe you something from last show. Remember our story in Peru about the witchcraft and the stuff? I actually found a photo I took of the eye that they used to make witchcraft to me. I took a photo of it and I found it. So this is it. This is the thing that they put 3 days in my sink and 3 days in my shower, and then they just took it away. So this is weird, right? Like John saw an Egyptian mummy, I don't know, and they were using this kind of stuff. So yeah, I wanted to share this with all of you, especially with the ones that watched last show.
Was this in
yes.
Peru when you were in Peru?
Yeah. They put this thing. They put this thing, the Eye of Horus. Yes, exactly that. That's very used by the secret societies and stuff. I don't know what's the power of that, but Mogwai has a tattoo of that.
You know who to stay away from.
I'm gonna be away from you in the CG con then, Mogwai. Social distance with Mogwai.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've been sharing lots of stories. So has Vinny. So I want to hear Red and Lola. What you guys got?
Sure, man. I think I told you guys a little bit about the 7 Gates of Hell, somewhat local around where I live last time. I never had a story from that. I've been there, but since I've been there, they've taken it down. But apparently what it was doorways that were remaining from an old mental institution. And there were 7 of them spaced a good bit apart. And the story goes that, as you enter through each doorway, you kind of spiral downward more and more into the realm of insanity. And I know a couple people who have actually gone there, and none of them have made it all the way through. They said by the fifth door, they were starting to hear things in the woods. They would see eyes. Because this is just like in the middle of the woods, like years later after this institution burned down. And it's a really creepy place. Like I've been there since they've knocked these doors down. They knocked them down because people would constantly go there and cause trouble and get drunk and just be stupid. But yeah, I know a few people who have actually done it. Older people actually that went there when they were younger, and yeah, they would tell me that nobody that they knew could ever make it beyond the fifth door because things just got so creepy by that point, and they just felt themselves like losing their mind. So they turned around and came back. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what they. All right. So as they were getting further in, they were getting so freaked out they would run back out the other way.
Yeah, and part of that makes me wonder how much of that was in their head and how much of that might have been reality, because that was kind of the whole tale behind it. Is the further you went, the more insane things became. So were people looking for that insanity, or did it actually happen?
And the ones who did go, let's say maybe they went through 3 doors or 4 doors, and they started hearing things. Did they just walk to the side? Or did every single person who tried to do it always ran back out the way that they came in?
To my knowledge, they came back out the way that they walked in. Like they came back through the doorways.
Sounds like there's another story there that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too. I was pretty disappointed because I went to explore, and I guess it was just pretty freshly done. They just kind of bulldozed the whole place. So
you were going to try to go through all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to hang out with a group of people. We would just explore abandoned places and look for crazy stuff like that. And we were in old hospitals and all kinds of weird places, just abandoned. I went with a crew down to Maryland once, and I can't remember the name of this place. This was also that mental hospital seemed to be the thing, I guess. But yeah, this was. I mean, it was creepy as shit. Like we didn't actually get close to it, but we drove by a nearby road, and this place sat like up on a hilltop, just like out of the movies,
Mm-hmm.
And the place was supposed to be abandoned, but when we drove by, there were fires lit like in several of the windows. So we were just like, okay, maybe next time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we went to all kinds of crazy places. But yeah, the Seven Gates is one that always disappointed me because I really wanted to explore that, and just as I discovered it and decided I wanted to do it is when they decided to plow it down.
Holy shit. Actually, I dated a girl who she did a little bit of research because she was going to do a book like on ghosts, and she went to this one location, one of the most haunted places in was it Florida? Fort something. Was it near Sarasota? I forget where it was, but it was one of the more widely known haunted places. And I don't know if it was the lighthouse. It was near the water, where they said there was a lot of weird shit going on. And she walked into this building that was supposedly very haunted, and out of nowhere just started getting a nosebleed. She felt like my other friend, like this cool air, like unusually cold, and it's like 90 plus degrees outside, no air conditioning in this place, and it was just out of nowhere on top of her, and then her nose just started bleeding. She said she ran out of there so fast. She's like, yeah, well, I don't know what's going on in here. And, her nose, it took her almost like a half hour for it to stop. So, and she never gets nosebleeds. She never gets weird, freaky shit like that. And she goes, yeah, I couldn't understand what that was out of nowhere.
Wow, so, that is freaky. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know some people do get frequent nosebleeds, but if that's something that you don't experience all the time, yeah, that's extra freaky.
Yep. Never happened. Again, hot as balls out. All of a sudden, a very cold wind, and then that happens.
Yeah.
Somebody get an exorcist.
I've always wanted to like partake in an exorcism, be like an audience.
Oh yeah.
It's not something pretty to look at.
I don't know. I've always thought it'd be interesting to see one take place. I guess my story time is up, huh? this didn't happen to me, but like there's this place in my hometown called Werewolf Springs. It's basically a place where kids go to make out, right?
Explains why you were there.
Oh, shut up. But like the legend behind it is like there was these kids, they'd went up to this place to make out, right? And like they started hearing these sounds on the side of their car and like on the hood, and like they couldn't figure out what was going on, but they heard this howling, like, you know, in the woods or whatever. And so like it's always been believed that there were werewolves in this area. And these, you know, these kids come back with this tale of, you know, one night making out in the car out in this secluded area, and they were like attacked by wolves, right? Like there's scratches down the side of the car, like the hood's all dented in, like nobody can explain what happened.
It was Michael Jackson.
Probably. But like that was the legend in our hometown forever. Like, you know, all of us kids, we all would go out to Werewolf Springs like around Halloween time, because, you know, you want to see the werewolf, right?
Yeah.
And everybody always, you know, there was always that person that knows someone that saw it, right?
Yeah. It's never anyone directly that you know.
Right. It's always just like, oh, well, my friend's sister's brother was out there with his girlfriend, and, you know, they were chased through the woods, and it's like, come on now.
It was Malin.
They were making out. The cops probably showed up. They got chased. But like that's always been like the big rumor in our hometown, was that there were werewolves that lived in this area.
Wow.
So that was, I don't know if they were on this set to scare us or what, but
that's pretty cool though.
They
Even
didn't
like, kind of like those little folk laws.
Yeah, well, I guess you have a story?
No.
Okay, then I'll tell one for you. This happened to us. You know, I've been very fortunate because most of this weird stuff that has happened to me, it always happens around other people. So I usually have confirmation that I'm either not crazy or seeing things, right? So there was this one boxing tournament we went to, I want to say 5-6 years ago, no, probably more. I was driving the boxers who were competing that day, and we were going from Phoenix, I want to say, to a town near the border called something river. I forgot. But anyways, it's really it's like one of those towns by the border with Mexico. That's like half a town is in the U.S. and the other half is in Mexico. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. San Luis. That's the name of it. San Luis. You have San Luis, Arizona, and then you have San Luis, Mexico. So anyways, the competition started super early, so we kind of took off at, I want to say, 4 in the morning, something like that. And I remember this trip specifically because we stopped at the gas station, and it's the first time I see that at the border they sell these lollipops who have scorpions in them, right? And you eat them. You eat the scorpion. There's a scorpion like embedded inside the lollipop. Have you guys ever seen something like that?
Yeah.
Only on television.
Yeah, apparently it was popular here. It was the first time I actually seen it. And I remember I bought one and I eat it, and the kids back there are on the phones or whatever. And so here's the freaky stuff that happened, right? So my business partner is driving, and I'm on the passenger seat. And we're driving my car. And then I remember that I make the comment, I'm like, I've never seen the moon so big in my life. It was huge, right? And it was right there, like in front of us. It was right there in the horizon. And I remember looking at the moon, right? And I'm like, I've never seen the moon this big before. And then my business partner looks at the shit, yeah, it's really big. And then the kids who are on the phones, they look to see what's up. And as soon as all 4 of us must have been, make eye contact, I guess you say, or see the moon, it disappears right in front of our eyes. So I just look at everybody and I'm like, did everybody just see that? I remember my business partner was freaking out, like, what the hell? And then I look back at the kids and they were like, yeah. And then they get back on their phones, right? They didn't care. But I never seen something like that. You know, like usually something like that would take time, but the moon disappeared in a split second. And it was huge.
Jeez.
That's my story.
Wow.
That's weird.
UFOs.
Oh, I did have another ghost one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe it was a UFO. Yeah, I got in front. No, the childhood house that I grew up in. When we moved, it was kind of nuts. While we were living there, we knew something happened because when they got the house, they had to fix up something. There was like a little fire that happened on one of the floors, and they also said that the woman who had the house, that she did pass away. We don't know if it was in the house or afterwards. There was always a miscommunication, but we always used to see like some things here and there. Nothing too crazy, maybe something was moved or whatever. But since there was a lot of us in the house, like you chalk it up to, oh, maybe so and so moved that or whatever. But there was some freaky stuff here and there. But when we moved, my uncle was still like on the first floor. Like we changed the first floor, and he had like an apartment there. But when the new owners came in, there was some freaky stuff going on, and the guy would always flip out. My uncle's like, "What's going on?" And he was always afraid to say it to my uncle. So he's like, he would always be like, "Did things ever happen in here?" He goes, "What do you mean?" It was, a house with a family. He's like, "No. Things." And he's like, "What do you mean things?" Like he didn't understand what the hell he was trying to say. He goes, "There in the bedroom, in the master bedroom, there was a window that it would always swing open. Like it was a sliding one. Like there was no way the wind could have blown it open. It was like, you have to physically with two hands pull it and slide it to the other side. And this is like the dead of winter. It kept opening up. And he couldn't understand what it was. He even accused my uncle of breaking into the upstairs apartment and doing something. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Because I've been at work all day long. He even gave the number to his other coworkers. "What are you talking about?" So he eventually, like, he took the blame off of my uncle because he nailed the fucking window shut. And as he nailed it shut, completely, you couldn't budge it, you couldn't move it. He walks out of the room. He hears it swing open again. Nail on the floor. He turned around and freaked the fuck out. And he went to my uncle the next time that he saw him. And he goes, "I think there is a ghost in here, and I don't think they like me."
I think they have subscribers.
Did he apologize?
Apparently, I don't remember. It was a while ago. But I thought it was pretty fucking hilarious. I'm like, yeah, the guy was a dick. and apparently, whatever ghost or spirit was in there loved us and hated that new person who moved in. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's probably like, my friends are leaving. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
I'd have felt the same way.
Right?
Guys, I'm not high. Don't say that in the chat, please.
You're high on life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that stuff.
You're not doing that stuff? All right.
They think you're high?
What?
They think you're high, or one of us are high?
You were saying that I am high.
Carla's not high. Lola might be, but Carla's not.
I'm just,
She's high on Tylenol.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
She's high on life. Come on.
careful. Too much Tylenol, it screws up the liver.
Yeah, no, she just took like 2, I think, right? 2 or 3.
2.
Yeah, and these are like the pussy ones, like 500 milligrams.
The pussy one.
What do you mean?
What do you
You
mean,
can actually take like 6 of these a day.
Are you crazy?
But no, but you will not. Yeah.
Wait, what happened? Did you hurt yourself?
We can speak about it. We will talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
No, how dare you?
She stubbed her toe. Mind your business.
That's another horror story for another day.
I have a story.
Go ahead.
I can tell you about the time I ran over a guy.
It was a hard story for him.
You ran over a guy.
You ran over a guy?
Lola.
Yeah.
By the way, he was dying. He was like the nice butt.
No, like it's funny because it was 2 weeks before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, it was like 2 in the morning, right? Like I was in college. And so like I was up studying for a test and like writing a paper, and I got hungry. So I went to go get me some food, right? Like pretty normal college thing to do, right?
Taco Bell.
So I take this road that's like a back road to Taco Bell. And like I'm coming back down that road, but there's like no lights, like street lights and stuff. And so I can't really see until like, and it had been raining. I mean, it was raining just profusely. And so like I go around the curve, and as I go around the curve, I see something in the road, but I can't stop. You know what I mean? Like like I'm right up on it, and I don't have time to stop. My only option is to just keep going forward. And so like I ended up running him over, and I drug him approximately 160 feet.
Jeez.
And I stopped my car, and like I said, we're in a college town, right? So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I either hit someone's dog or some frat kids played a really bad prank and they've thrown a dummy out into the road, to try to scare. Or I've just ran over someone. I've actually just ran over someone. So I stopped my car. I'm sitting there. I call 911, right? And like every horror movie I've ever seen in my life is playing through my head, right? Like I hear this guy up under the car. Like I hear him just like gurgling under my car. And like I keep playing it in my head. If I step out of this car, he's gonna reach up and grab me. Like this is a bad prank, and somebody's like trying to grab me and hurt me. Like I'm not playing it in my head that I just ran over somebody. Like, and we have to get there. And
This was several summers ago.
Huh?
I said this was several summers ago.
We were reading the chat. Yeah, the chat were hilarious during this. Sorry.
Abel says, "I would love to be the guy." Lol.
What happened is this guy, like the road, it connected to like on one end there was a bar, and then on the other end of the road there was restaurants. And so this guy, he had gotten accepted into this big program out in Arizona, this aeronautical program. And he went and got his paycheck, and he went and got some food. And then his friends took him to celebrate at the bar on the other end. And so when he was just wasted, they'd given him the idea to walk back to his car on the other end. And so they don't know, like, we still don't know if he like just passed out in the road or if someone threw him out of the car. But he was literally laying with his head facing the turn lane and his feet off the curve. And like people actually passed him and nobody helped him. Jesus. They just left him laying in the road.
At least they didn't run him over.
No, I ran over him. So the cops get there, they lift my car up, they get him out. And the only thing that saved his life was his belt. Like my car set really low to the ground. Mm-hmm. And so he had one of those belts that had the rivets all around it that used to be real popular. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like my car apparently caught his belt. And so like otherwise it probably would have killed him. But he ended up having like 3rd-degree burns on his butt and like broke his clavicle.
Oh.
And
it's like El Guapo said, you created a ghost.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, thankfully he didn't die. He was okay, but
thank God.
Like that was the scariest night, and it was 2 weeks before Halloween. So of course I'm sitting there panicking while I'm waiting for the cops to show up, thinking like I'm gonna die or something. Like some kids are gonna come out and kill me for like some crap joke.
Yeah, I can imagine the shit that was running through your head and his head.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to take some time off from school after that for a little while.
Oh, of course. You kidding me?
Huh?
Well, it's 50-50. Some people are Team Lola, some people are Team Not So Lola.
Lola, you're a monster. Best story of the night, Lola.
Now, do you ever worry that you're going to have I know what you did last summer scenario and this guy comes back for revenge? with his burned ass.
His belt.
No, because actually what happened was after he got out of the hospital, we actually met back up because it was deemed it wasn't my fault because he was passed out in the road.
No.
And like the car that had passed him and left him laying there, they came back and told the cops, hey, yeah, we saw him there. We just didn't stop. And we saw her coming, but she wouldn't have seen him there because there was no light to see until you got right up on him. So like it wasn't my fault.
There's an excellent question.
Thank God that was clarified, because that could have been fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible for everybody.
Lola, did you eat the Taco Bell while waiting for the cops to show up?
No,
Why not?
because I was in panic mode.
But then after they showed up,
No, I did not get my Taco Bell that night.
What is it with
But
that?
her stomach probably went empty regardless of all that. I'm sure she was vomiting or something. I would have been freaking the fuck out.
yeah, and I'm glad Lola doesn't live in my town. I sleep in the street often.
That was the most horrendous night I can remember though. Like
It doesn't matter how scary the stories are. The chat always turn into comedy.
They always have a lot of people.
But what I was gonna say is after he got out of the hospital, me and him met for like lunch or whatever, and he was telling me that he was partying up his check. He had 3 little boys he wasn't taking care of, and so like now he takes care of his kids. He's there's a reason. He felt there was a reason.
He changed forever.
Yeah.
Lola, you saved his life.
It ends up being a feel-good story.
Yeah.
Not to mention a creepy story told with that sweet, sweet voice. Lola, you're the queen of the Sims, indeed.
I don't know if he's joking with me or if he's serious.
Of course he's serious.
I think Abel was the guy.
The guy.
Abel, the guy with the belt and the burnt butt.
No, he said he wanted to be, and then he retracted that after he heard about the aspirin.
No, wait. Look, this is for the audience. I actually bought the peanuts, very crunchy peanuts. I'm going to be eating in the microphone, ASMR, slow-mo, sensually one by one. And John is gonna demonstrate it. He's eating one right now, but do it closer to the microphone and slowly. And no. Take one, and like enjoy it. That's no. You have to. Oh yeah. That's just a little sneak peek of what you're gonna get if we get to 6K in the Green Reaper.
John with nuts in his mouth. That's what we're gonna get. What the hell?
Very, very sensual. We're gonna be eating all the peanuts in one sitting. You like nuts, right?
Sure. We do.
Anyway,
Lola, great story. Great story, by the way. You talked the whole time. Why did you say that one last time? You just wanted to do it in my channel.
I don't know.
You just didn't want to.
I give all my stories away at one time, and then we wouldn't have a show.
Yeah, I got to save some, man.
That's right.
you always have to.
Next, she'll save the other one for that time she did murder someone. This was the old book story.
I have never murdered anyone.
What do you think about this?
6K stretch goal. Carla sleeps in the street.
Lola,
Why? No.
You might want to up that one to 10.
We'll let Vinny sleep in the street at 6K, right?
I bet he
that's
twerks
just-
in the street at 6K.
Yeah, Vinny
No.
twerks in the street.
While eating spaghetti. No, wait, standing in spaghetti. Which was it? I forgot.
Oh, inserting peanuts somewhere.
Whoa. That's what Red would be doing while he's watching me twerk and eat spaghetti.
I'm doing it right now.
Hey, I'm going to respond to Baz here. It wasn't someone taking a ride from me. It was someone getting a ride up under my car while they slept in the road.
Yeah. He was hitchhiking the wrong way.
Really.
Yeah, she just answered to it.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So and then he answers with, "Who else have you almost killed, Lola?"
Yeah, almost killed.
Or killed.
Besides me?
You almost killed Red. I think like Red.
No.
Red, hold on, Red asked for it a lot.
Yeah, I do.
I'm really hard on vehicles.
And humans.
No, not really humans. That was the only time I ever did that. I'm just really hard on cars. Like,
Those kids.
huh?
I was just reading the chat. The beautiful people in the chat.
Yeah, Apollo. If she wants to come on, she can come on. I'm going to be rotating the room on Wednesday. I'm going to have a show. I'm going to do like a little creator spotlight with a bunch of people. So yeah, whoever wants to come in Comicsgate, you got your books to pimp and hang. You guys are all welcome. Like I said, if there's a lot, I'll just rotate the room. But I'm trying to do a few more because I again, this whole past week, I haven't been doing any streams because I've just been packing books, mailing them out, doing drawings for the backers. My hands have been very full. Again, there's still like 350 books that have to go out.
God, pretty soon Vinny's gonna be laying in the street.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, very overwhelming. I lost a bunch of weight too doing this shit.
Brother, I don't care how tired you are. Never fall asleep in the street, okay?
No, I'm staying away from Lola's town. I told you that already. And I'm staying away from Taco Bell's.
Right.
There's a disaster every time you go near those places.
Oh, so I've heard.
Right? Disaster in the pants.
I don't know about where you all live, but Taco Bell here is gross.
Taco Bell's gross everywhere.
I've never been in Taco Bell.
You're not missing out.
I had it once in my life. Once. Absolutely disgusting.
What did you have?
They're soft shell tacos or something. It was gross. Absolutely gross.
Still?
I think the one reason I hated the most for it is because one time I ate it and there was this huge hair, which could have very well been.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So that's where my mind goes. I see a hair, I assume immediately that it is a pube. I don't know.
John,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to set up a stream with you and my brother Frank. That happens to him. That's happened to him over the years a number of times. He's been finding hair in his food in all different places.
I know.
We used to make it. We used to make a joke about it. Like, what the hell's? Are you doing it yourself? Are you looking for attention, or
No.
you just pull the bad luck lottery all the time?
Doesn't Frankie request pubes in his food though?
No comment.
Look at the chat. What the Taco Bell is sacred, you monsters.
Taco Bell was awesome when I was 20 and in college. Taco Bell is not okay when I'm, 30 something and not in college.
Taco Bell once a week.
I don't think
It's a
Taco
small
Bell is
one.
okay in any situation.
Yet Isabel says, between the werewolves and Lola's driving, it's not a safe place.
I've had Chipotle's a number of times, and I regretted those as well.
Brother, this is for you. Choreographing your twerk video.
Are you sure it's for me? I think it's you guys again. When do you have to teach me how to do it properly?
Lola,
John?
that's your responsibility.
I'm gonna confess something. We used to do this thing in the first campaign. just
I already told them.
Nah,
but
you
tell them again.
already-
Tell them
Like
again.
every time we got a contribution, we would twerk, right? it was just for shits and giggles. And one time we got like a $300 one all of a sudden, and we twerked for like a good 3 minutes, huh?
Nice.
1 minute per 100.
1
He
minute per
twerks really good,
I do
He's
not.
good.
I do not.
Of course you are.
Don't encourage.
Is there a demonstration coming?
No, there's not. Because I'm not good at it.
He's over it.
That could be a stretch goal. Look, if we get to 6K, sleep in the street in Lola's hometown. And
No. The 6K is this. I even bought them.
I thought you bought them because you wanted to eat healthy.
No, this is not healthy.
No.
This is for the stretch goal. And it's gonna be something like very,
Well, look at the seriousness. She's like, I bought the fucking peanuts. We're doing the peanuts at 6K.
yeah. Of course.
She's gonna start slapping them. Don't touch them until we
Bell
get
is so
6K.
gross.
Huh?
You know why Taco Bell is gross?
Because of the pubes.
Because of
No,
pubes?
'cause it's not authentic. It's not authentic Mexican food.
Of course not.
Lola,
don't know.
don't you think you eat a lot of pubes in your university year?
No.
No, that was later in life, Carla.
Carla.
Sorry, Lola.
You know what she meant. She meant that you go to Taco Bell a lot.
Of
But
course.
the thing is,
Bueno, bueno. Bueno, bueno.
Bueno, Lola, nada. What other thing? Taco Bell, of course.
Te amo, Carla. Te amo.
Once I see a hair in my food, that place is getting blacklisted forever. I don't know. That's me. That's the one thing that grosses me out the most. And listen, I've gone through some disgusting ass shit. There was this time when my mom made me try the gay ass Boy Scouts for some reason. And I stayed there for like a week until I said, okay, this is a group of homosexuals, clearly, right? And I got in the bus to go to a camping trip or whatever. And I remember the guy sat next to me and he looking me right in the eye, goes, I am really hungry. Then he digs his nose and he pulls out this humongous booger, right?
Ew.
Nice, green, and drippy, and he just ate it in front of me.
God.
I don't care.
Was it a booger with a tail?
And what badge did he get for eating that?
Yeah, I know. He was just hungry, I guess. But the thing is, it didn't gross me out. I'm like, all right, you do your thing. But I see a hair in my food, and that shit, I'm fighting if I see a hair in my food.
Disgusting.
That was pretty fucking gross.
That was the defeating hunger badge.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Dady, let's just switch the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to back the Infernal Wednesday wall. Thank you, my friend. Wow, you're gonna love
Thank
it.
you so much.
Johnny Cage, thank you, Johnny. Finally, we know what she meant. Of course.
Yeah, she meant a handful of pubes.
John, have you ever heard my story of why and when I stopped eating fast food?
Why? No.
Lola and Red know this story. It happened at a Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's I wanted to try out one of their chicken sandwiches, right? And I went through the drive-thru, and when I got this thing, I opened it up, and it was not the sandwich. It was supposed to be grilled chicken, right? It's a grilled chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and whatever.
That's not fast food, Beanie. What the hell?
And pubes.
Huh?
That's
This was at Wendy's, right? Because I was trying to wean myself off of that crap anyway. Because I used to eat the junior bacon cheeseburgers all the time. I used to love that shit when I was younger. But I went, all right, I haven't had it in a while. Let me try a chicken sandwich since it's a little bit healthy or whatever. So I get the damn thing. I open it up, and it's not a grilled chicken sandwich. It is literally a deep fried piece of chicken with some kind of breading on it, and a slice of American cheese.
This
thing was not on the menu on any level. I went, what the fuck is this? This is not what I ordered. So I go back into the store and I go, who made this sandwich? I said, this is not what I ordered. I gave him the receipt, and it was this little chalupa looking woman, couldn't speak English, overweight, and she's going, making these noises, not even communicating properly. I don't know what she was trying to do. She was trying to speak some kind of Spanish. I'm like, I don't speak it. I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, this is not what I ordered, right? And she's getting red in the face and waving her arms in the air. So the manager comes. I said, give me the manager. He comes over, and I went, this isn't what I ordered. I gave it to him. I said, what the hell is this? This isn't even on your menu. I said, this is some kind of chicken deep fried, whatever, with some weird breading and a slice of American cheese. Can you explain this to me? I ordered a grilled chicken sandwich, right? And he's like, oh, sorry, sir. I'm sorry. She's gonna rework it. So as he's talking to me, she's behind and she's making the new sandwich, right? And what do we call it again? The fupa?
The fupa.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paranormal drive-through.
Yeah. Because hold on, because she's short, she can't reach. So she goes to lift her arms, and her fupa gut area is on top of the food now. It's on top of the bun. On top of, again, she's grabbing the same piece of deep fried chicken. I don't know where she's finding this, but this is what she's making. And I'm going, as I'm talking to the manager, I see her back there. I went, turn around. He went, what? Turn around. I am not fucking eating that. And he goes, what? He sees her with her fupa gut on top of the food.
Just resting on his sandwich.
Just resting as she's reaching over to grab another item to put, probably American cheese, to put on top of this fucking sandwich. She was going to make a repeat of it. And he's like, whoa. He grabs her. No. Stand over there. He had to stand her in the corner. Now she's really red in the face, embarrassed, angry. She could probably be doing some kind of witchcraft towards me all in the same moment. And I'm going, I don't know what the fuck that is. I am not eating that shit. I'm sorry, sir. We're going to fix it. I said, give me my money back. I'm fucking done. I am done. I said, well, look what she was making. And he saw it too. It wasn't the grilled chicken sandwich. It was whatever the fuck concoction she was pulling out of her ass.
Probably literally.
Yeah, I get out of there. Give me my fucking money. I'm leaving.
He probably had it
Dickheads.
stored in the little, in the lupa, whatever you call it. It reminds me of that story. Remember that one time, that restaurant we always used to go, and you used to always get French fries. And for some reason, when the waitress was we always have like different amounts depending on the waitress, right? And there was this fat waitress that she didn't kind of like it, but we used to love going there like often. And she would like throw the food or whatever and give us attitude. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch, right?
Yeah.
So whatever. Until one day you were the one that caught it.
Yes.
Like you picked in the kitchen, and this lady is actually eating like the fries from different orders, right? She's stuffing her face with it. That's how we figured why we had like less in our plate every time she was serving us.
I know. Like when there was a different waitress, we got more fries. And like she like went to the kitchen and came out of the kitchen like munching, like. And again.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for our order. And my order, you don't mess with my fries, okay? You don't.
Of course not.
And I got so pissed. And that happened 2 times. So we like figured out the time she was working to not go at the time. To actually get the full fry.
Yeah.
Look at this comment.
Yeah, Vinny, Apollo Patriot wants to know if she's single.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Exactly.
Possibly, buddy. Possibly.
I would say likely.
She seemed like a real catch, though. I don't know.
Are we telling horror stories of like restaurants now?
That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's what
Horror
Okay,
is horror, man.
We, like me and my husband, we will not go to a buffet restaurant.
Uh-oh.
Because, okay, yes, there are sneeze guards there for adults, but children are short. The sneeze guards do not cover, and children are gross. So, like, when they sneeze or, rubbing their nose, and then they're like, they got their hands on the, like, we don't do buffet food, like, style restaurants because of that. Like, that is so gross. But, my mother-in-law actually we'd all went out, right? And, she went up to get her food, and there was a guy who, I guess he had cut his arm or something. And as he was getting like cottage cheese, his blood was running down into the cottage cheese.
Mm.
And so, yeah, we just don't do those kind of restaurants at our house.
Nice. That actually reminds me of some awesome stories from somewhere I used to work. I was in culinary for a long time. And I used to work at an assisted living facility. And I would always tell the employees, don't eat from the salad bar. Just trust me on this, especially if you're coming in on the second seating of lunch. Don't do it. But they do it anyway. And the reason I would tell them not to do it is because, while the seniors were eating, I would stroll and ask them how they're doing and watch them at the salad bar. And bloody fingers, scabs going straight into the food, just picking things out, eating them, licking their fingers, and going straight back for something else. Yeah, they wouldn't use the tongs that were provided. They'd be in there with their fingers, their licked, bleedy, crusty fingers.
And old people love to double dip.
Oh yeah. So every time I'd see an employee go out to the salad bar, I was like, "Well, I warned you."
Yeah, I used to have this friend who had this ridiculous rule that he would never get food from a waiter or a waitress or a server who had pimples, right? It was like, no, that's disgusting. I'm sure the pus somehow finds a way into the food, right?
Yeah, that's a good rule to live by.
Yeah, and I was like, come on, dude, don't be like that, don't be like that. Until one day at the movie theater, actually, the guy who brought the popcorn actually had one that had popped, and it was like dripping through his face. And yeah, I don't know, it just grossed me out too much. I couldn't eat the popcorn.
Fucking gross. I used to be in.
That's called flavor, right? Be thankful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was in the restaurant business too. With I had some jobs in there, and oh god, yeah, people are disgusting, and waiters and waitresses, they could be very, very nasty, very nasty.
Oh yeah.
There's shit. There's a few, more than a few stories over there. Some of them are very gross. I don't even want to repeat them on air.
Speaking of gross, there was another cook in the kitchen that I worked with. He was like 72 years old, and awesome dude, but he had this problem where his nose ran all the time. All the time. He would keep a snot rag in his back pocket and wipe it constantly. But he loved making pastries. So often he would be mixing dough in a bowl for donuts, and he would just drip constantly right into the bowl, straight from his nose into the bowl. And yeah, it was kind of disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure we all eat a booger or two, a chicken or two in our lifetimes, and I'm sure, I guarantee it. And it's not to be racist, but when I went to Chinatown in San Francisco, I am so positive that I ate either dog or cat, because there was nothing like that. There's nothing like anything I've ever tasted before. It was just this chewy, really weird looking. And yeah.
You sure it wasn't a sun-dried tomato?
It was a what?
A sun-dried tomato?
No. It was Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, plus happened in Chinatown, and then I started I haven't seen a single stray dog or a cat in this whole place since I've been here. So.
The best Chinese restaurant in Staten Island is next to an animal hospital.
I bet it is.
Do you remember that I showed you the thing? Did it look like a chicken wing? It looked like different bone structure, no?
Well, I don't know what animal was that, or maybe it was a human. I don't know. But you ate a very disturbing thing.
Well, I was hungry.
But
it was cool.
But it was like breaded, you couldn't actually see until you ate crust, and we could actually see the bone structure, and I never seen that before.
Yeah, I never seen chicken look like that either.
No, that was
well, maybe your master chef used to work at a Wendy's.
Could have been a Chihuahua.
Oh man.
I have a ghost story at a restaurant.
We'd like to hear it.
Tell us. We'd like to hear it, because we're a little off topic, but
it's story time.
Isabel says, "Bas, this isn't scary enough." Yeah, I think this is scary.
Hey, sometimes humans are more frightening than the paranormal.
I know.
Right. It's horrifying, is what it is.
Absolutely.
It's beyond scary. We're talking about people that are in their hundreds with their bloody scabbed up fingers, double dipping in food, licking their. Oh, dude, that's a nightmare, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let a man if he's hungry.
Yeah, honestly, no. I'm not too picky about food. The one thing And I always tell you this because sometimes you like give me something to eat, and then you start like doing this, and I'm like, no, because some hair is gonna get in the food. That's my only no right there. So if you cook the human well enough to where you get rid of the hair,
But baby, like you just grab the hair and you keep eating.
no, it's just.
You know how many of my hairs have been in the food, and I take them out before giving it to you.
Oh no.
Check the peanuts.
Just kidding.
Hair's never really been a big deal to me unless it's visibly a pube. If it's like a long hair, I'll just pull it out and eat it.
But the thing with pubes is you never know. You never know.
Listen, if anybody has a pube that's a foot long, that more power to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Cage says angry Beanie is a security.
What? I was angry? Where was I angry? I was just retelling a story.
You were angry at the chicken sandwich gut.
Angry Beanie is second best Beanie. I wonder what the best Beanie is.
Twerking Beanie.
Sensual Vinny.
El Guapo.
Sensual.
I'm not too picky about food. Ron Carla Brown.
That's what she don't know. I've been just feeding her, just playing.
Anyway, we were talking about sensual Beanie.
Yeah, let's talk about sensual Beanie.
Oh yeah.
Like this show is having mood swings today.
Yeah. See, confirmation here. Obviously, it's twerking Beanie.
Obviously.
Obviously.
So how's your progress with twerking, brother? Good.
Have you been doing your home?
Good thrust.
I practice 5 times, five times a day, a minimum of an hour each. Yeah, it's hard to get anything done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's commitment.
The twerking skills are just off the cheap.
We're all looking forward to that in the CGCon, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be quite an interesting time. I want to see how much.
You want to see the spaghetti? I know.
Yeah, I want to see how much the virtual world translates into the real world when the real CG convention comes in, and all these promises and all these things are actually going to be fulfilled.
I actually have something to say about Beanie twerking in spaghetti.
We're all ears.
You have spaghetti, right? But like I in my opinion, if Beanie's twerking in spaghetti, I don't know, like in meat sauce, like the red sauce, they wouldn't have the same impact as Alfredo spaghetti twerk, I think that would look very different. So which sauce are you going to choose, Beanie, for that?
I don't know. Are you going to be the master chef on this?
Yeah.
We could call your buddy over to Wendy's restaurant.
Yeah. We're going to get Chupalupa there and Carla.
Her gut will touch every noodle.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then I can put like some hair for you.
No, I don't do hair. I'm sorry.
I'll supply the pubes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway,
I was having a good time. Up until this moment. What's wrong with you people? Come on.
Wait, what do you mean, you people?
Yeah. Right? I used to be a chef at a restaurant. I was a sink washing dish and was talking to my coworker, or so I thought, who I saw in the corner of my eye standing by the oven baking. And then I was talking for a while before I turned my head to look. There was nobody there, and a mop and broom fell over right as I looked. The coworker was out of break.
oh shit.
Ooh.
What did you do? Did you piss your pants?
I mean, I just did that like a minute ago. I didn't realize you knew.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other ghost stories like in restaurants or places like that?
I did. Yeah, I had a weird experience at another job I took as a cook again. But it was really strange. It was at this it was at a chapel actually, where I guess like children's groups would visit and stay for a couple of days and then move on, and we would just, it was our job to feed them. But for some reason, when I started there, I just felt really uncomfortable, which is weird because I'm pretty much comfortable wherever, and I can assimilate pretty well. But I don't know, I got this weird feeling about this place, and I had no idea why. And I worked there for about 2 weeks because I started hearing voices while I was cooking, and it was just, like I dismissed it at first, but it just kept happening. And then I started getting visions of just people, like a woman here, a woman there, and just a flash of it, and it got to the point where I'm a calm dude, I'm always mellow, never had a panic attack in my life until I worked there. About a weekend, I started getting panic attacks just out of nowhere, like no reason, I'm just cooking, doing my thing, and this wave would just wash over me, and I would like freak out and it's like hyperventilating and have to go outside and have a smoke. And I put up with that for about another week. And yeah, just like random voices. It was the oddest experience I ever had. And after about 2 weeks of that, I was like, nope, like I just can't do it anymore. I cannot go back there. So
sorry. You were
go ahead.
No, so what I heard and what I understood is women flashing they give you panic attacks.
Yes, correct. No, it was really weird. I only saw like the people like twice, but I would hear these voices constantly, and it was so low that I was like questioning if I was actually hearing it.
I have a question. Did the voices ever tell you to put like cinnamon when you should be using pepper?
No, I couldn't discern what they were saying, and that's why it was strange.
Oh, that's creepy as fuck.
They didn't help you like the recipes.
Okay, what was that, Vinny?
I was saying, like, have strange mutterings. Yeah, that would be fucking freaky.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't like I couldn't discern the words at all. Yeah, it was. And it would happen. It was just here and there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It was only in the kitchen. Like when I go in the dining room to like sweep up and clean up, like that was fine. But when I come back in the kitchen, yeah, that's when the weird shit happened.
So here's a question, I assume. Red Gaze, did you took a sleepy pill or was it real?
Nope, I've never taken a sleeping pill in my life.
Yep.
I've never hyperventilated or had a panic attack in my life until that moment, and I haven't since.
You think the voice was speaking Japanese?
I don't think so. I think it was English. It was just so low that I couldn't make out what they were saying.
Oh, like whispering? Yeah.
It was very low and very brief. It wasn't like a drawn out conversation or anything. I would just kind of hear them, and I'd look, and it would stop.
Absolutely. Well, we have the end of Delta's Purple story. Which says that other coworkers said that they saw ghosts of children running through the wall in the stockroom. The place used to be a school a long time ago, and supposedly there was a fire where people died.
Wow.
That's fucked up. I did hear that a lot, especially when we were doing research on Through the Woods about ghosts and stuff and patterns and shit that happened. It was almost always like this tragic event that would keep those spirits there. They were confused. They didn't know. They didn't know what happened, and they relived that moment as well. It depends if it's like a really tragic thing. There was a story I heard where there was a guy who got this apartment. I think it was like in LA, and he kept hearing freaky things happening in his apartment. He didn't know what the fuck was going on, and it's always sounded like footsteps right over his head. But the apartment that he had, there was no floor above him. And he would always hear like these footsteps, like if you were in an apartment building and someone just kept, pop, pop, pop. And he would hear yelling and fighting and screaming even. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. He ended up finding out from the realtor that building used to have multiple floors. And there was a person who was murdered in that apartment complex that was previously there. So when they tore it down and they rebuilt it up, there was supposed to be another floor above them originally, and it wasn't. So it was just a little bit shorter, and the guy was like on the top floor. So basically, that spirit at a certain time would always do this. I thought it was a freaky as shit. Like he like literally went on the roof to look, nothing was there, but he would hear it all the time. So it's crazy. They said it was a brutal killing too. So someone was shot. beaten, craziest stuff that was going on. So yeah, I think that is nuts though. But it does work for storytelling elements for sure.
Absolutely. We have a story here by Blanca who says that she saw not one but two ghosts in two different experiences. One locked her inside the bathroom in her house, and the other one was with my father in a maybe near a cemetery that gave me a heart attack. Did you actually had a heart attack on this, or almost gave you a heart attack?
Yeah, maybe she was pretty scared.
Wow.
Jeez. Oh, there was an yeah, go ahead, read that.
So if I'm in a quiet room with a fan on, I can hear music or voices in the white noise of the fan. I always feel there was something wrong with my brain, but I've never asked a doctor about it.
I don't know.
Then we have a Waffle says he cannot wait to read
Through the
Through the
Woods.
Woods.
Hardcover edition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people have been getting it. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to hear from people. And yeah, anyone who's listening, if you did order it and you're getting it, go ahead, make a little video when you get it, knock on it. I'll retweet that. I love seeing when people get books. All ones that I've been sending out. I think it's so cool.
Vinny,
Yeah,
do a hashtag.
Huh?
Do a hashtag.
Hashtag knock knock.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Well, I had hashtag fans first, hashtag Mellow Art World. I used to do that a lot.
Hashtag report.
What?
Hashtag Lola joins me. In spaghetti. There's a cool ghost story that I heard too from a celebrity. You know Roddy Piper, the wrestler?
Yeah.
This was pretty cool. When he first got into wrestling, a lot of people would be mean to him and shit because he was young when he got into it. But there was one guy who always looked out for him. Now I don't know if you remember this guy. He used to go by Gorgeous George. Mm-hmm. He kind of did like a Liberace kind of flair, and actually Ric Flair took this guy's kind of persona, and then he upped the ante with it because this guy Gorgeous George, he used to come out like in those fancy bathrobe type robes or whatever, and he would like pretend to be a little bit on the gay side and all that. But the guy was a straight shooter, and he was super super kind to up and coming wrestlers because he knows if you're too rough on everybody and you're always putting them through things, because a lot of these guys used to fucking even break bones to teach young kids a lesson or whatever. But he saw Roddy and he saw he was a good guy and a hard worker, so he wanted to put him under his wing and show him the ropes and all that crap. They became like the best of friends. They even did like tag teams, I think, with each other for a while. Anyway, this guy George, he passes away, right? And it upset him so much all the time, freaked him the fuck out. And this was the craziest thing. He says it felt like he stayed with him like a guardian angel. And this guy Gorgeous George would he said during tough times, he felt like he was there, right? So in his house that he bought, he wanted to get a nice place for his family away from everything. I think it was in Oregon or something. But in this house, it was a little bit older, rustic, and they said there were rumors there was some freaky stuff in that area. So what Roddy would do, because he heard when you buy or you've seen them on buildings, gargoyles are supposed to protect people, right? So he would get a bunch of gargoyles and he would put them on the outsides of his house and in certain rooms of his house, because it felt like it would push away like this bad juju or whatever he was feeling. And he said one day in this house there was something going on at night. They had a fireplace and everything, but he wasn't really using it. And this fireplace went off, like it lit by itself, and it started spitting out like embers all over the floor. And this room started to catch on fire. And he said he felt and he saw George appear to him and woke him up and told him to grab his kids and get the fuck out of the house. And this spirit saved his life. He goes 100%. he believes and he knows and he saw it was his friend who did that, which to me was amazing. And he goes, he always looked at him as like his guardian angel. You know, sadly, Roddy passed away too, but a couple of years ago. But I thought it was crazy, man. When I heard that story, I was like, holy shit. So yeah, it's cool to hear that there's also good ones out there, and you know, people who kind of still watch over, kind of like guardian angels. I thought it was pretty cool.
Wow.
Absolutely. Wow. That is quite the story there to just finish up tonight. What do you guys think? It was a great stream, and I love hearing all of you guys' stories. Next Monday, we're going to be in your channel, Red, doing the same thing, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Absolutely. Look forward to it. Any final words?
Everybody, please subscribe to Wildcat Comics. Also, subscribe to Red Gaze channel. Also, subscribe to Beanie Art. And I don't know, guys, if you want to say something.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
Oh yeah, don't forget to back Grim Reaper, back Through the Woods, and back Sunsworn, please.
Absolutely.
Right. And watch Lola back it up. Back it up.
In spaghetti.
Don't sleep on the road.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
You never
Stay
know when
away.
there's a Lola out there looking to run you over.
Have a good
Stay away from Taco Bell. No pubes.
Don't hide under cars either.
Hashtag no pubes.
Hashtag no pubes.
Bye.
Good night.